From the icy forests of the Donetsk region to the shattered neighborhoods of Kupansk, liberation efforts continue without pause. Ukrainian infantry units and special operations forces are constantly engaged in some of the most dangerous tasks of modern warfare, clearing operations. Following intelligence reports of a possible enemy infiltration, a strike and search group from the 115th Mechanized Brigade launched a full-scale sweep of the village of Nova Platonovka. At the same time, Russian propaganda outlets were spreading false claims that the settlement had been captured. In response, Brigade Command ordered a methodical operation to verify and secure every structure in the area, leaving no room for doubt or misinformation. The operation unfolds under harsh winter conditions, with freezing temperatures placing additional physical strain on the soldiers. The unit advances yard by yard, carefully inspecting every corner, doorway, and outbuilding. The danger of sudden ambush is ever present, and even a brief lapse in attention could prove fatal. Most of the houses stand damaged and deserted, their former residents having fled long ago as the fighting reached the village. To reduce the risk of surprise attacks, Ukrainian fighters periodically use suppressive fire to neutralize potential hiding spots where enemy saboteurs could be concealed. Indoor ambushes are among the most dangerous threats, which is why each structure is cleared with extreme caution. Entrances, especially basements, are breached using explosives. An enemy hiding underground would have a serious tactical advantage during a close quarters encounter, making these areas a top priority.
Что, готов? Давай, иди-ка. Давай. Все, плюс, давай побачимо, плюс, що ти вийшов. Давай.
To counter disinformation, the military documents the operation, providing clear visual confirmation that Nova Platonovka remains under Ukrainian control. After a brief pause to display the flag of the 115th Brigade, the unit immediately resumes its work. Several buildings still require inspection, and the procedure remains the same throughout. A grenade is deployed into the basement, followed by controlled fire into dark corners. Only after this sequence is completed do the soldiers physically enter the structure. This method is repeated again and again until the final confirmation is reached.
Бажаю здоров'я. Знаходиться на самому пункті новопостою.
Nova Platonovka is fully cleared of enemy presence and remains under the control of the armed forces of Ukraine. The focus then shifts deeper into the Donetsk region. Operators from the 8th Special Operations Forces Regiment successfully complete a mission within their assigned sector. Conducting a raid on an enemy position, the group eliminates 2 Russian servicemen at an observation post. 3 others attempt to take cover inside a dugout, but the decisive and coordinated actions of the SOF operators leave them no alternative but to surrender. Operating far behind enemy lines in extreme winter conditions requires far more than basic combat skills. These missions demand specialized equipment handling, advanced camouflage techniques, strict gear management, and peak physical and mental readiness. Snow-covered terrain and temperatures dropping to minus 15 degrees Celsius leave little margin for error. Success depends heavily on detailed planning at headquarters, accounting for every possible scenario before the operation even begins. While the assault itself is visible, much of the effort remains unseen. UAV reconnaissance, fire support coordination, and electronic warfare operate continuously in the background.
Еще следующий! Да быстро упал! Давай, выходи быстро! Бегом! И падай, падай! Ползи, ползи! Ползи дальше! Ползи! Все, пішли.
In another operation, fighters from the 8th SOF Regiment raid a Russian position in the Donetsk region once again. Utilizing all available assets, including drones, explosives, and small arms, the group neutralizes 3 enemy personnel. 2 more are trapped inside a dugout. Through a combination of overwhelming force, precise timing, and firm commands, the operators compel the remaining enemies to surrender. As a result, 2 prisoners are taken into custody and added to the exchange pool. The fortified position is completely cleared, and full control over the area is restored.
Руки вверх! Выходи! Выходи! Вылазь! 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 Сколько вас? Сюда иди! Сюда иди! Ползи! 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 Лег! Лег! На живот! На живот! Один до мене! Лежи, завали. Сколько вас там?
In a separate mission, the same regiment carries out a search and destroy operation in a wooded zone, continuing their relentless efforts to eliminate enemy presence across the region. The video footage exposes a network of camouflaged firing positions, a dugout, abandoned equipment, and a portable generator. All of these elements clearly indicate that the enemy had been operating from this location before withdrawing in a hurry. As Ukrainian soldiers approach the area, they detect sudden movement and immediately open fire. The advance slows as caution becomes critical. Enemy fighters are using dense tree cover to mask their movements, making visual identification extremely difficult. Even under these conditions, the operation reaches its objective. 1 Russian serviceman is neutralized, while the remaining group disengages and retreats deeper into the terrain.
А другий йде. Пішка, пацани. Один з'їбать, давай йди в чергу. Нахуй, нашій землі. Есть, мы 1 раз.
In Rzadinska, another enemy strongpoint is systematically dismantled. Fighters from the Omega Special Forces unit launch a swift assault on a fortified structure. Supporting fire and tactical cover are provided by soldiers from the 14th Chervona Kalina Brigade, operating as part of the Siri Kolchitsky Battalion. The intensity of the gunfire is overwhelming, forcing the assault team to slow its pace without losing momentum. Ukrainian fighters continue to advance methodically, using the ruined landscape to maneuver and outflank the defenders. They take up key positions to provide overlapping cover for one another as the assault progresses.
Где 300-й? Где 300-й? Вы ТМ-ку закинули? А? ТМ-ку закинули?
A soldier reports the successful placement of an anti-tank mine at the building's entrance. The objective now is to maintain constant suppressive fire, trapping the enemy inside until detonation.
Держите вход, не давайте им выйти.
Moments later, the explosion confirms the mine's effectiveness.
Куда ранение? Куда ранение?
As with many frontline victories, the success comes at a cost. One Ukrainian fighter suffers an arm injury, and his comrades immediately render first aid under fire. He is evacuated to a safer location while the operation continues without pause. Grenades are deployed to flush out any remaining resistance inside the structure.
Там відстрілюються, чи живий, сука. Ми туди вже стільки гранат кинули.
After several tense moments, silence follows. Ukrainian soldiers enter the building and discover a wounded Russian serviceman. He is informed that medical assistance will be provided and that he will be processed according to procedures for prisoner exchange. The mission concludes with the position fully cleared, enemy forces neutralized, and one prisoner taken into custody.
Продолжаем рух.
Пойдешь потом на обмен.
Если у него каска, блядь, с кого-то, блядь. А вот и станция какая-то. Тащим на точку эвакуации.
Meanwhile, the Cardia Search and Strike Group, together with the Kupansk Tactical Group, continues the final stages of clearing the city. The settlement had previously been liberated during an operation led by the 2nd Corps of the National Guard.
Cadê você? Cadê você? Vem aqui. Onde foi? Onde foi?
Urban clearing operations, especially in areas with multi-story buildings, introduce additional dangers. Enemy fighters can conceal themselves on upper floors, gaining elevated observation and fire control over the surrounding streets. Ukrainian troops move quickly yet quietly, minimizing exposure and avoiding unnecessary noise. Every structure is systematically inspected. Meanwhile, clearing operations across the city continue without pause. As already noted, securing multi-story buildings is among the most dangerous tasks on the battlefield. Assaulting from ground level places Ukrainian fighters at a serious disadvantage when the enemy holds elevated positions above. To offset this risk, units rely on preemptive fire to suppress threats before advancing. The same danger applies while moving through the streets. Every intersection, doorway, and shadowed area can conceal an ambush, forcing soldiers to react instantly to any suspicious movement. Suppression is immediate, leaving no time for hesitation. The condition of the city reflects the intensity of the fighting. What was once a calm urban environment has been transformed into rows of shattered buildings and empty streets. The clearing process is fluid and relentless. Time is a resource the fighters simply do not have. Gunfire, explosions, and drone strikes are constant, shaping a battlefield that changes by the second. Watch how the soldiers respond with lightning speed after a direct FPV drone strike, maintaining pressure and control without breaking momentum. The outcome is clear. Kupansk remains firmly under Ukrainian control and will continue to be a Ukrainian city. From the precise operations of special forces in frozen terrain to the determination of infantry fighting through urban ruins, these actions reveal the enormous effort required to reclaim every meter of land. It is a combination of tactical expertise, advanced technology, and unwavering courage operating side by side on the front line. In modern warfare, clearance and search operations are not simply about advancing the front line. They are about securing every gained meter of territory and ensuring that control is permanent rather than temporary. Capturing a town, village, or key position is often only the opening phase of a much longer and more complex process. The real challenge begins after the initial breakthrough, when enemy remnants must be located, neutralized, and prevented from regrouping or launching sabotage attacks. The primary objective of these operations is to eliminate all hostile presence within a defined area. This includes not only armed personnel, but also hidden observation posts, ammunition caches, booby traps, communication equipment, and temporary shelters. Clearance missions also play a critical role in countering disinformation, as they provide visual confirmation of who truly controls the ground. In modern conflicts, footage from the battlefield has become as important as territorial gains themselves. These operations take different forms depending on terrain and mission objectives. In rural environments, search and clear missions often focus on forested zones, fields, and natural cover where small enemy groups can conceal themselves. Dense vegetation and uneven terrain allow defenders to set ambushes or withdraw undetected. Urban clearance operations are even more complex. Multi-story buildings, basements, narrow streets, and ruins offer defenders elevated firing positions and numerous hiding places, forcing assault units to move slowly and deliberately. The outcomes of successful clearance operations extend far beyond immediate tactical victories. Removing enemy forces from an area disrupts their ability to resupply, observe, and coordinate future attacks. It also allows friendly units to establish secure logistics routes, reinforce defensive lines, and prepare for further offensive actions. Captured prisoners provide valuable intelligence and play a role in prisoner exchange processes, adding a strategic and diplomatic dimension to these missions. Seasonal conditions significantly influence how these operations are conducted. During winter, frozen ground, deep snow, and extreme cold place enormous physical strain on soldiers. Movement becomes slower, equipment requires constant maintenance, and long periods of immobility increase the risk of injury. At the same time, snow can expose enemy tracks and movement patterns, improving detection. In warmer seasons, operations face different challenges, including dense foliage that limits visibility. dust that interferes with optics, and heat that reduces endurance and concentration. Regional characteristics also shape operational strategy. Areas such as Donetsk and Kupansk combine open terrain with dense urban environments, forcing units to rapidly adapt their tactics. In open areas, drone reconnaissance, armored vehicles, and long-range fire support dominate. Inside cities, the fight shifts to infantry-led, close-quarters engagements where coordination and discipline are decisive. Each region demands a tailored approach based on its geography and infrastructure. From a strategic perspective, clearance operations are essential for shaping future battlefield developments. A secured town or village can become a staging ground for further advances or a buffer against enemy counterattacks. Constant pressure prevents opposing forces from consolidating defenses and gradually erodes their operational flexibility and morale. Over time, this forces the enemy to retreat, abandon positions, or accept unfavorable engagements. Technology plays an increasingly central role in these missions. Unmanned aerial vehicles, electronic warfare systems, and FPV drones allow units to detect threats, suppress enemy positions, and reduce risk to personnel. Precision strikes can neutralize fortified targets without exposing assault teams to unnecessary danger. Despite these technological advantages, however, success ultimately depends on the training, resilience, and decision-making of the soldiers on the ground. In conclusion, clearance and search operations represent one of the most demanding and decisive elements of modern conflict. True control of territory is achieved not through maps or announcements, but through systematic, methodical actions on the ground. Every cleared building, secured street, and stabilized area contributes to the broader strategic picture. These operations reveal the complexity of modern warfare, where technology, planning, and human determination intersect in the struggle for lasting control.